Hello friends, Teo here. I hope my mic is on. It looks like it's going. We're playing Harvest Moon in the Lost Valley. Here it is. Today is my third day of recording these videos, so my motivation has stayed. I did talk a bit about maintaining motivation in a previous video. It did take me a little while to start. I have friends online. Why do I always press that instead of home? Let's see. We got Days playing probably Hello Kitty. Yeah, Hello Kitty. I was also playing Muse Dash. I didn't even know Muse Dash was on the Switch. I have that on mobile and PC, but didn't know there was a Switch version. Let me get my screen maximized on my preview window. But yeah, so I did maintain motivation and over to the third day. Nice. And yeah, I did have a little. Took me a little while to get like maybe an hour or longer to start actually like. We need to catch a bunch of fish. Okay, that's our next objective. It took me like, it didn't get any cutscene at the beginning of the day, but it took me like 1.5 to 2 hours to actually start recording this first video. That's because I did eat some dinner, and then I was like doing Reddit and some other stuff, mostly Reddit scrolling while I was eating, and then I wanted to like finish. I was writing like a really long comment. It actually took like 3 comments long because they can only be like so long on Reddit. And then I was just kind of like, I do have a difficulty like switching tasks, like stopping one thing and starting another. Like I haven't exactly identified what makes it difficult for me, but it does. So I just kept doing Reddit. And then I would even like open the recording software and then like open Reddit again and go back to doing it. So eventually I got around. It's about an hour and a half it took me to, and that's including the eating. So, but here I am doing this. I did make it to my third day of videos. And speaking of maintaining motivation, I was talking in an early video about how in therapy I talked about maintaining motivation, and I went. Did you see that crop? Like they're like disappearing. Do you see that? What's going on? I have discovered a graphical glitch. But part of maintaining motivation is to find something else to do and not just spend all my time on Harvest Moon: The Lost Valley and my YouTube channel. And so I have been thinking about what I want to do. And I also talked about wanting to do something intellectually stimulating. And I've been thinking about ideas for things to do that. And I did talk about that in therapy, but some of the things that we had talked about, we're doing mathematics things and studying something. Because I do really like to study, and I really like Khan Academy, like learning how to I want to learn like physics and study some stuff like that, and so that would be something intellectually stimulating to work on, is to study physics, and then I could I would maybe start like trigonometry and brush up on that and calculus and stuff, and then move into physics. So that would be an interesting thing to do. And then there's okay, it's 10 o'clock. Let's see if there's anyone here. No one's there. 10 people seem to get there around 10 o'clock. Anyway, so that was one thing I was thinking of that I could do. I'm trying to think of what other things we talked about. I actually forget some of the other stuff we talked about. But another thing we had talked about was learning languages. And learning languages is something that's always been really interesting to me. Even as a little kid, I tried learning like French, and I learned like a couple of sentences. I didn't really know what I was saying, because I was little and I didn't understand what was going on, and I wasn't taking like enough of a structured course or anything to really like explain to me anything. It was one of those like cassette tapes where you just mimic back the phrases, and then it tells you like what they mean in English, but you're not actually like understanding the structure, the individual words that are part of the phrase and stuff like that. We had a mosquito fish. A new record. And the fish take a long time to bite in this game. And so I've always, really been into that. And then, you take Spanish in high school. I took Spanish for fun. And that was really fun. And I tried my best at Spanish. As opposed to a lot of other academics in high school. And then I started trying to teach myself Japanese in high school. It didn't go so well, but then I did end up studying Japanese and Korean in college. After that, I've tried studying Arabic, German, Chinese. That's all that I remember that I actually stuck to for more than 20 minutes. Where I actually made a decent effort, even if I only stuck with it for a week or something. Arabic, I didn't get very far because it's really hard. I wasn't good at finding very many resources and stuff, but I did find it. I did try, and I can't say anything in Arabic now. I don't remember how to say anything. There's a couple things I could maybe say, but I don't want to say them now and be really wrong. But German was pretty hard too. German at least shares most of the alphabet with English, so that's not as bad. All the other languages I try to learn have a different writing system. Chinese was the most recent that I tried to do. Japanese is the one I got the furthest with because I did get a Japanese major. Oh, I pressed the button too soon. Too busy talking. So I did major in Japanese, and then I put a lot of effort into it outside of school, so I'm fairly proficient in Japanese. I was pretty okay at Korean at the time I graduated. I did also get a major in Korean, but I wasn't as good at Korean as I was Japanese. And that's another thing I've been thinking about, is going back into learning languages. That was my point, is that I like learning languages. And I'm trying to think of other things that we thought of that could be computer science, and particularly programming. I do know a bit of programming. I made a game before I developed a game, and I worked on some other game projects but never finished or got very far in them. But I did develop a whole little game once. It was on Congregate and stuff, and so getting back into programming would be fun. But as we talked about in another video on here, that I also want something that can be done where I can complete something quickly. And we talked about reading books for something. Now I'm talking about things to maintain motivation. Reading books, which is slightly intellectual stimulating, especially since I would probably be reading sci-fi, which can be a little more intellectually stimulating than something that's just a slice of life drama or something, because you do have to think about outside of you have to think a little more creatively to read a sci-fi book than a book that takes place with everything you already understand in it, if that makes sense. But anyway, so I was thinking of reading books because even if I do get hyper-focused on the book activity and give up on this activity, the book activity will end soon enough. I could probably, if I do hyper-focus on reading a book, I could probably read a decent-sized novel in a day or two. You know, like an average novel, not something like Dune, which would probably take me 4 years because it's so difficult to read. But, you know, right now I got Neuromancer out. I did get a book out, but I haven't started it. I did take it to my nap spot today, but I ended up napping the whole time. Sometimes I have like, it took too long. Sometimes I have like shorter naps, and then I have like an hour, hour and a half, you know, sometimes even 2 hours that I just sit and scroll on my phone or something while I wait for coffee time. And I'll talk about daily structure in an upcoming video. But so I'm trying to think of something that's intellectually motivating that can also be done in a small project, in small form. And something like studying physics, if I get hyper focused on that, it's not going to be done anytime soon to take an entire online physics course. Whereas a book, you know, I can finish that in a couple days, at the worst several days, and then I can get back my motivation for doing this, hopefully without having lost it because of having not done it for so long. So studying physics, studying math and stuff, that's probably not a good idea. Studying language is a really big thing. So it's like the same thing with programming. Like, you'd have to do some kind of big project usually. Like, I could maybe try to come up with some really small projects to do, but generally a project is going to take a while. Or it would be some kind of like little things here and there that like don't really have like a really sense of completion to them or something. I did think about doing something on Project Euler, and like just, you know, focusing on one project, problem at a time on Project Euler. My day is running out, so I'm not going to go into what Project Euler is, but basically I'm not going to go too deep into it, but basically it's a list of problems, math and logic type problems that you are encouraged to solve in any way you can. And a lot of times they can be solved through some kind of programming solution. So, you know, do one little project to solve one problem on Project Euler would be something I could complete and then move back to what I was doing before if I get hyper focused on that. But then I was thinking of the language learning thing. And I think if I tried to learn a new language or go back to a language that I'm not that good in, there would be a lot of ongoing study and stuff like that. But I was thinking today about going back to studying Japanese because of, oh my gosh, you have to press it so fast. My reaction time is not so good, especially while I'm talking and not being like, you know, not being like super focused on being ready. But as for studying Japanese, there's not a lot of like formal study I have to do. It's mostly, you know, just practice at this point, like playing a game in Japanese or reading a book in Japanese, watching shows in Japanese or something, you know, and then when I come across something I don't fully understand, I can look it up. That's basically all I really need to do in Japanese anymore, is just familiarize myself with things I come across that I'm not familiar with. Because after studying formally for 5 years and studying more on my own after that, I have a pretty solid foundation of grammar and everything. I don't really need to like look any of that up. It's mostly just learning new words, and maybe I can still come across structures that I have not come across before and look those up, but I don't need that like formal study where I'm going to be coming across lots of things that are just like completely nonsense to me. So I was thinking about that, and I thought it might be a good idea to get back into playing Tokimeki Memorial, which a game of Tokimeki Memorial takes maybe, if I was really sitting there and trying to understand everything, it's going to take longer. So maybe 7 to 10 hours at the most. And that's including if I read everything carefully, listen to all the dialogue, think hard about what I'm doing. Don't skip anything. And also look up things I need to look up. I think that, or not hovering over Mario Kart World, I think that will take me, I'd say, 7 to 10 hours to complete a single playthrough of the game. And it has a sense of completion finishing a playthrough of the game, especially if you put that much effort into understanding the playthrough of the game and you're not just like forcing yourself through for the sake of getting like one CG still that you missed or something like that. Like it's it'll have that defined beginning and end, and something that I could easily get done with and then try to revitalize my motivation for this YouTube project if I get hyper focused and don't want to, and it makes me stop working on YouTube when I'm trying to work on YouTube. So yeah, I think that's kind of really where I'm leaning right now. I might even start as early as tomorrow playing Tokimeki Memorial again. We'll talk about learning languages and stuff in a future video, and exactly the kind of methods and stuff that I have used in my time learning languages, and that's not for now. Next time I'm going to talk about my daily structure and how I'm trying to work on that, and incorporating Tokimeki Memorial into it will be relevant, so I wanted to talk about this topic first. So it was kind of a little all over the place, a little talking about motivation, but I mostly want to talk about intellectually stimulating activities that I've been entertaining the idea of doing. And yeah. That's it. So I will see you guys later. Have a good one, and bye-bye.